Hello and welcome to this special broadcast. I'm Shereen Bhan. Operation Sindoor is the new normal for India's stance against terror, said Prime Minister Modi as he reset the terror doctrine. His address to the nation on Monday was his first since India's military strikes against Pakistan in retaliation to the Pahalgam terror attack. Prime Minister Modi added that India would not fall for nuclear blackmail and that terrorists and their enablers would be seen as one. He also called Operation Sindoor the Make in India moment for India's defence sector.
न्यू एज वॉरफेयर में भी अपनी श्रेष्ठता सिद्ध की। इस ऑपरेशन के दौरान हमारे मेड इन इंडिया हथियारों की प्रामाणिकता सिद्ध हुई। आज दुनिया देख रही है 21वीं सदी के वॉरफेयर में मेड इन इंडिया डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट्स इसका समय आ चुका है।
Joining us now on the program to talk about where India stands today post Operation Sindoor, the big defence equipment moment. Is this a coming of age of India's defence industry as well as the geopolitical reset that we are currently in the midst of? Sanjiv Puri, President at CII, Kalyani, Chairman and Managing Director at Bharat. Also with us on the show, Rahul Mukundan, Vice President at CII. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on the program. Mr. Puri, if I could start by asking you, we heard from the Prime Minister in his address to the nation and subsequently when he addressed air warriors at the Adampur Air Base, making it clear that Operation Sindoor is the new normal. It's the new red line for India's response to any future terror activities, whether terror actors directly or enablers of terrors as well. Now, from industry's perspective, how do you respond to what we've seen from the Prime Minister, what we've heard from the Prime Minister, and where India finds itself positioned?
Thank you, Shereen, for having us on the channel. So, first of all, let me start by congratulating the Honorable Prime Minister for his very swift, decisive, impactful, and yet very responsible actions. You know, it started with the targeting of terrorist camps, and then India also responded very effectively against the provocations, caused a significant amount of impact and damage to various strategic sites in Pakistan. So I'd like to congratulate him for the swift action and for demonstrating to the world that India will not tolerate terrorism. It's a zero tolerance. And the new normal, I think, is extremely important because, sustainable growth, quality of life, for them, what is very important is a safe operating environment. And this gives immense confidence to investors and businesses. So the Indian industry really would like to congratulate the Prime Minister, would like to salute the armed forces for their bravery, the professionalism. And I think what is interesting that it has demonstrated the prowess that the Indian defense industry has built over the years. I think it all started again with the visionary leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, the Make in India program, which has started several years back. And we know from a minuscule amount of exports, we're talking about last year about 3 billion or approximately kind of exports. And the efficacy of all of these equipments were amply demonstrated by the effectiveness of the targeting, the precision targeting, and the extensive and effectiveness of the damage caused. And and this is not merely speculation. This is based on images that have been verified. Not only what we've seen in India, but also by, overseas, media channels where they have access to various satellite images and have very clearly demonstrated the extensive damage that has been caused. So I think it's absolutely Indian industry is in complete solidarity with the Indian government on the actions that have been taken. We welcome it. And I'm sure that this also gives a lot more impetus and energy to the building of the strategic defense sector in India.
Yes, let me take that point forward with Mr. Baba Kalyani, somebody who has, of course, been involved with India's defence sector for very long now. Mr. Kalyani, as I started, is this really, in a way, a coming-of-age story as far as India's defence sector is concerned? Sanjiv Puri alluded to the export number, and we've seen that export number up 34-fold increase, 34-fold increase in the last 10 years to over 23,622 crores. But, Operation Sindoor and what it's meant in terms of testing India's military prowess, testing India's defense capabilities, coming out successful on all parameters. We are given to understand at this point in time that we could be talking about replenishment orders worth about 30 to 40,000 crores. And all of this now builds on the indigenization efforts over the past decade. Mr. Kalyani, your first thoughts on what Operation Sindoor has meant as far as India's defense capabilities are concerned, as well as the road ahead.
Well, thank you, Shereen. And first of all, let me share what Sanjiv said and congratulate the Honorable Prime Minister, the political leadership in India, and our armed forces, the National Security Advisor, and everybody else who took part in planning and making this successful. I think what we need to understand, what is very different in this conflict is this has been a technology-enabled and technology-intensive battle, not the normal kinetic war that we were used to with our adversaries across the border in Pakistan. And I think this is what is very heartening for India, heartening for the nation, and what our industry has been able to contribute, both the public sector and the private sector. And more importantly, let's not forget our DRDO, who has been at the backbone designing products and making technology happen. And I think this is a big change that has happened. We all see it in our own businesses where we are making defense equipments. And I think you will see India moving ahead very fast in the technology enabled battle scene that we had in this conflict. Having said that, I just want to caution that this was a short conflict. I think from our side it lasted 25 minutes, if I have heard the media correctly, and we should be prepared that something bigger happens. We are not caught napping, and we are ready with all our muscle power, all our technological capability, and all our hardware. And I think Indian industry is pretty much up to the mark. We are, more than just the business side. I think as Indians, we are extremely elated and very proud of how this has been handled, how our leadership has taken decisions and have made things happen in a very proper fitting manner.
Well, Mr. Kalyani, since you talked about the length of the operation, just to be absolutely precise, it was 23 minutes to be exact, sir. That is how long Operation Sindoor, the first installment of Operation Sindoor, lasted, 23 minutes exactly. But let me bring in Mr. Mukundan into the conversation as well. Mr. Mukundan, just to take forward what we heard there from Mr. Kalyani, in terms of future readiness, future preparedness, he talked about the contribution of organizations like the DRDO, etc., but perhaps a need for even deeper, more robust private-public sector participation, partnership as well, especially on the defense side as we move forward, because at this point in time, in the geopolitical reset that we're seeing, perhaps self-reliance will be of critical importance.
Thank you, Shereen. Let me also join my two senior colleagues in congratulating and complimenting our government, our Prime Minister, and our armed forces on a wonderful, resounding message they sent across. And this was a very important message, fundamentally, because ours is a fight for peace. Ours is a fight for calm. And I think this was very important to do the way it was delivered, precise and short, as Baba Kalyani explained. And I think very clearly, in the long run, the point about Atmanirbharta, which the government has been saying, is actually most acutely we need to drive home in the area of defense. Because one of the things I did learn through this whole process is that when countries do export their wares, they actually reduce some of the capabilities of the equipments they sell to others. So I think in that context, if you had to be fully capable and measuring up to any form of threat and threat issues which we will face in future, I think we need to design and develop and ensure that we have equipments and the technology which is right up there, matching with the best in the world. What we have seen is the human ingenuity, the human talent which has come to the fore, but we need to back it up with material goods and technological goods. And we are right there, but we must continue the momentum. One of the things which I would certainly say is that what private sector does bring to the table is its ability to put together a time-bound and also very cost-effective solutions to be delivered in a way that I think it not only caters to Indian needs, but also the needs of India as it begins to project itself beyond the shores of India. So really, the government has taken many, many steps in the area of defense, especially in terms of public-private partnership, procurement from Indian companies, encouraging joint ventures with the overseas partner. I think that momentum should continue, and I'm sure that more avenues will open up for us. And this defense spending and defense development, as I call it, should be seen as expenditure and an investment in peace. Many of us mistake that, whether it can go into other sectors like education. Certainly those we need to do, but I think this is one of the critical thing. The development doesn't happen without peace all around, and in ensuring not just peace at home but also peace overseas, I think we need to progress it, and the private sector and public sector should work hand in hand, and government has taken wonderful steps in this regard.